Okay. All right. Let's get into this. Let's see what this person is thinking going after Leaflit, Kirsche, and Rev with like being quote unquote right-wing grifters. Let's take a look.
Drama slop alert. Drama slop alert.
Okay, we start hot. Oh, I can already see where this is going. Oh, fuck, I can already see where this is going. Right off the bat, a hat that says, "This machine kills fascists." Right off the bat! Fan-fucking-tastic. Oh, I can tell this is going to be a video full of logic and reasonable thinking and intelligent discussions. Absolutely, I can see that's what we're in for on this one.
This video is drama slop and politics slop. I am warning you now. If you don't want to see drama slop and politics slop about the VTuber community, then I suggest you do not watch this video. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I've been aware of the phenomenon of like right-wing VTuber.
Okay. The fact that he had to give a trigger warning, because that's what that was a trigger warning, when the literal name of his video is the right-wing VTuber grifter situation. You literally put politics in your title, so why are you giving a trigger warning that it's going to be about politics? What was the purpose for a trigger warning when the title of the video that people clicked on literally says right-wing? Did you want to make sure people could get into their safe space before you started talking? Is that it? Did you want to give them their safe space? Okay.
Grifters for a while now. I mean, I guess it makes sense that like they exist because lots of VTuber culture tends to kind of skew a little bit left-wing. And when it comes to people who like VTubers...
Okay, hang on. I will say this. This is not a child-looking avatar. His avatar, legit, is no worse than Rev's. Okay? When it comes to his VTuber avatar, it's no worse than Rev's. I've got no problem with the avatar. None whatsoever. This would be like if we saw Rev on the screen. It's fine. It's fine. I have no issue with it.
There are a lot of loser virgin chuds looking for a home, you know, who feel like they can't find a VTuber.
Hold up. What?
And when it comes to people who like VTubers, there are a lot of loser virgin chuds looking for a home, you know, who feel like they can't find a VTuber who represents their politics, their shitty, toxic, awful politics. So, you know, obviously there's a market, which leads to the rise of the right-wing grifter VTuber. You know, a lot of them are basically just kind of copying.
Okay, I'm already gonna call it. This guy's gonna call Kirsche, Rev, and Leaflit right-wing grifters because he can't counteract any of their points. That's why he calls them right-wing grifters. Because every point that they make in their streams and in their videos, he will not have a legit counterpoint against them. And when people like this don't have a counterpoint, that's when they start with the name calling. That's when they say right wing. That's when they say fascist. That's when they say Nazi. That's when they say istophobe. Because they cannot defend their position, or they do not have a counter to an argument that is being presented to them. Or they cannot discount facts that are being presented to them. So already we know this is going to be a fuck ton of name calling, and he's not going to be able to counter anything any of the three of them have ever said.
Asmongold's YouTube channel, it's a lot of just like Gamergate reaction content and just general politics reactions and awful shitty opinions about current events. Yeah, no, it's
Why are their opinions shitty? Notice he just throws out a label. Oh, shitty opinions about current events. Really? What makes them shitty? Just because you don't like them? Kirsche brings fucking receipts to all of her opinions. Leaflit brings receipts to all of her opinions. Rev brings receipts to all of his opinions. Nux brings receipts to all of his opinions. Asmongold brings receipts when it comes to his opinions. Are they a shitty opinion because they hurt your feelings? Because they take you out of your safe space? Is that why they're shitty opinions?
Awful cesspool of bootlicking and bullshit, but you know, it pays the bills, I guess. So literally just today I made
You mean like you basically just name calling a bunch of VTubers with nothing to support your opinion on it, at least currently, because it pays the bills? And am I getting that right? You know, they actually talk at length about subjects intelligently, and it pays the bills for them. And you just called their shitty opinions and slop tubers and right-wing grifters with no evidence to support this to pay your bills, because that's why you made the video. You're probably monetized, so I'm guessing this is to pay your bills too. So you're basically doing the cheap way out by doing, you know, by just name call.
the mistake of thinking to myself, what's going on in the right-wing VTuber grifter sphere? And I went ahead and looked and was immediately made angry by how stupid this current
Here we
drama
fucking
is.
go.
I'm not gonna sit here and
Okay, hang
cover
on.
like this entire like play-by-play. A lot of it's very
Let's see how this
stupid,
plays.
But just as a quick overview, Miss Lala is a VTuber, has kind of like a 1950s kind of diner aesthetic to her model and
Okay.
her stream, and she tweets out "fuck ICE," which of course, based good opinion. Everybody agrees with this based opinion. If you
So that was a fucking lie.
No, not everyone agrees with that opinion. In fact, the majority of the country vehemently disagrees with that opinion. The majority of the country is actually approving of ICE. There was actually a, I forget which poll it was. There was a poll that CNN brought up recently, within the last few days. There was a poll done by CNN, or at least presented by CNN, in regard to ICE, that they about the approval of ICE. And it was overwhelmingly positive. The majority of the American public approve of the job that ICE is doing. It could be, I can't, for the life of me, this was a few days ago, I cannot recall exactly the poll in question, but the poll showed an overwhelming majority of people approve of the job that ICE is doing. So, you're wrong. The majority of people do not share your opinion. You're wrong. Factually, you're wrong.
you don't agree with this, fuck you. That gets quote retweeted by Rev.
And there it is. There it is. Right there. Listen
Everybody
again.
agrees with this based opinion. If you don't agree with this, fuck you. That gets quote retweeted by
This person does, yeah, this is a hit piece. This person doesn't care. This person basically, if someone disagrees with them, they stick their fingers in their ears and they go, la, 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 I can't hear you, la, 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 la. These are people, when you challenge their belief system, they will either crumble or they will outright attack. They have no middle ground. They will not listen to anything. If you tell this person, I agree with what ICE is doing, they will not even do the bare minimum and go, why? Can you tell me why you agree with ICE? Can you give me your rational explanation to why you agree with ICE? Allowing the person who says, I approve of what ICE is doing, to justify their validity of their opinion. No, instead, oh, you like ICE? Fuck you. I don't want to hear from you. I want to stay in my little echo chamber, in my little bubble, and pretend like you all don't exist, or at worst, that you should die.
Rev, who is one of these just like Gamergate right-wing grifter VTubers, generally just like kind of a like hateable human being from everything I've ever seen of him. And he accuses her of being a hypocrite
this idiot,
because she's a 1950s aesthetic VTuber and she hates the current federal agency that's more tame than any law enforcement agency of the time period.
Okay. Now, I will say that this whole thing between Lala and Rev was silly. But I will flat out say that the Twitter fight between Lala and Rev was silly and stupid. It was. It was a stupid little slap fight, and that's literally it. They threw a couple barbs at one another. They had a little bit of a slap fight, and that was it. It was everybody else that blew it up. I think they had a total of like 3 or 4 exchanges on Twitter, and that was it. It was over. It was everybody else. Basically, the people on this side, on Lala's side of the equation, that went fucking nuclear, went after Rev's sponsorship, causing Rev to lose the sponsorship. The fight in and of itself was stupid and extremely short time, like short-winded, extremely. It was everybody else was the one that caused it to be such a huge fucking thing.
Included in her LARP, and then criticizes her for locking replies. So, like, first off, this is not hypocrisy. This is incredibly stupid.
No, if you're gonna make a statement and there's gonna be a back and forth of a challenge, and you're gonna lock the replies so people can't challenge back, yeah, that's a problem. That means that you're not willing to listen to counter arguments. You're not willing to listen to alternative viewpoints by locking the replies. You notice my tweet, I haven't locked the replies. I have a lot of people showing up at my tweet that are either saying I'm wrong or making fun of me, calling me names, whatever. Have I locked the replies to my tweet? No. Why would I? Let people say whatever the fuck they want to say. I don't care. Locking the replies means that you can't take criticism. That's what locking the replies does. It means you don't want anybody to call you on your bullshit. You don't have a response. You can't answer what they're challenging you on, so you have to run and hide. That's what locking the replies down does. It's running and hiding.
Stupid point that makes zero sense. Somebody deciding they want to use a 1950s aesthetic for the VTuber does not require that they agree with 1950s politics. I don't understand where this is coming from. The whole drama kind of spirals into something stupid.
That part's fair. She's got the 1950s aesthetic. I believe I saw a clip of hers that says that while she's got the 1950s aesthetic, she doesn't have the 1950s mentality. That is a reasonable, what he just said. That's perfectly reasonable. And that's why I said that the tete-a-tete between Rev and Lala was stupid. It was a stupid little slap fight. But that's it. Legit, that's it. Rev shouldn't have probably got into it with her. It probably wasn't the best thing for him to do, but it was no big deal. People getting into bullshit pissing contests on Twitter all the fucking time. It happens. It's no big deal. Realistically, it was no big thing. It was other people that made it a big thing. So in that respect, what he just said, I agree. 50s aesthetic does not mean 50s ideologies or that she's living in the 50s. Okay, I agree with that.
In the first place, but this being the starting point is so incredibly dumb. His criticism is so incredibly stupid. It makes no sense. Like, oh man, you're a dog VTuber? Oh, but you don't just bark your entire stream and you speak in English? Wow, what a hypocrite. Oh, you're a vampire VTuber and you go out during the day? Oh, hypocrite. It's
okay, not even close. No. Not even close to the same thing. Now he's conflating. I was gonna give you a gimme on it being stupid and that just because she has a 50s aesthetic doesn't mean she has 50s ideology. I was gonna give that to you, and then you had to take it a step further. Yeah, you had to strawman the fuck out of this. You just lost that smidge of goodwill I was willing to offer you.
just dumb. Like, I don't understand where this even came from. I don't know. Rev seems like kind of a moron, honestly. Like, I've never thought he was like a very good person, but he also just seems kind of stupid.
Why?
There's a lot of mention.
Why? Why do you not think he's a good person? Why do you think he's stupid? See, you can't say something like that with articulating actual examples of why. You can't just say you're like, notice, whenever I call someone a fucking moron, or whenever I call someone an SJR, I always do so in the context of they are this because, or the because precedes me saying you are a moron. You are an SJR. You're a fucking idiot. At some point, you have to give. You can't just go, you're an idiot because I don't like you. That's kindergarten shit. You're literally going with the logic of a kindergartner right now.
Going back and forth in this exchange of like harassment. None of this is harassment. Rev is correct.
Hold up. Well, I mean, it's let's see. Yeah, okay, right here. Let me sift. Right here is the harassment. Fuck ICE, fuck Rev, and fuck you if you defend either one. Get back on your knees where you belong and keep licking. Yeah, that'd be harassment. That right there, that'd be harassment. And I can enjoy who I work for, not like who I work with. I'm not sure what this art part is. Wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. I'm guessing that is regarding to. I don't know if that's in regards to Rev or not. But the bottom part here where it says fuck Rev and fuck you if you defend either one, get back on your knees and keep licking. That certainly sounds like harassment to me.
None of this is harassment. Rev is correct. Like, quoting a tweet is not harassment, even if you're mean, even if what you're saying is really stupid. Nobody harassed anybody here. It feels like a lot of people are just like weaponizing that word to make it seem like the person on the other side of the conflict did something like morally indefensible so that they can kind of gain the high ground, and all that's kind of dumb. However, locking your replies when you're getting a lot of hate, like, that's valid. This idea that you're like not.
It's not valid if it's. See, he's conflating hate with people potentially challenging this person on, on clarifying or justifying their opinion if the opinion is inflammatory. Now, to be clear, I'm referring to locking the. It's cowardice if you lock the replies. If people are challenging you and saying, "I want you to justify your statement that is highly inflammatory." If you put out an insanely benign tweet, kind of like what Jelly did, and then people just start dogpiling on you, and you lock the replies because you are getting dogpiled for something completely benign, that's understandable. That's just people wanting to beat up on someone because they're bored or because they're twisting things around from being completely nothing into something that they want it to be, and they want to lock the replies because if you get dogpiled, then sure, understandable. You make a statement and people want to challenge you or criticize you for your statement because they think it's wrong, and you lock down their replies. That's cowardice. There is a difference. There is a distinct difference between the two.
Not allowed to lock your replies, or that you're like obligated somehow to allow people to comment under your post and like be toxic towards you. Like, that's.
You're not obligated, but
so
be prepared to be called a coward if you try and dodge questions.
Required to sit there and read all of like the criticism about you and like allow it to be aired out. You're allowed to curate your social media space. Like, if you don't want to see criticism of yourself, like, that's fine. Lock your comments. Who cares? And anybody who.
He's right. You absolutely can lock down your comments if you want to. However, people can then choose to view that as cowardice. It's a two-way street. It is a two-way street. Yes, people absolutely have the right to lock down their Twitter accounts. Sure. People also have the right to call that person out for cowardice if they had said something inflammatory and then lock down the thread, to prevent people from challenging that statement or demanding explanation or offering counter arguments. People have the right to call you a coward for doing that too. It goes both ways.
Criticizes you and implies that you are like required to allow public dogpiling of yourself, just don't listen to them. That's a stupid opinion. I don't know. Again, it's just people finding things to try and criticize about the other side to.
Desert, you are absolutely right. It means when you lock down replies like that, it means you're looking for validation and not discussion. Yes, that is absolutely another facet of it. Absolutely.
To sort of gain some sort of like moral high ground. I would say the only like truth of this situation is that Rev's attack was just stupid in the first place and made no sense. It's not that he did something like wrong or morally incorrect, it's that he's just a fucking moron. Also, Rev.
Okay. Half point there. Rev's initial quote unquote attack was probably silly or stupid. I'll agree with that. Rev's initial tweet on that was kind of stupid. Probably not a great idea to do it. But in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a big deal. I will half agree. Him saying Rev is an idiot and going off on that because of that singular bad tweet, wrong. 100% wrong. You get maybe half a point, Damer.
Likes to use the term Twitter freaks a lot when criticizing people or like groups of people who are either criticizing him or criticizing his opinions or things that he feels defensive about. I think that's pretty interesting considering some of the responses that seem...
Okay. What the fuck?
To agree with his take.
Hang on. Agree with his take? Wait, what? Goddamn. Okay. Okay, so you have a couple of people that are, I guess, agreeing with Rev's take. Hi. It's Twitter. It's a fucking cesspool of depravity and insanity and hatred across every single scope of the spectrum. You're gonna find people that will do shit like this for literally everything. You could say, I like peanut butter and jelly on Twitter, and there will be hordes of people going, you're a pedophile. This is Twitter. It does not mean that these are people that follow Rev, they're part of Rev's community. No, it means they are the average Twitter user, and yes, someone like this just literally off the cuff going, goddamn bitch whore, in reply to her, is a Twitter freak. I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that Rev probably does not agree with this person. I would hazard a guess. And then exploiting desperate men for money like all the whores on OF and various campsites, guessing Rev wouldn't agree with this person either. These are Twitter freaks. It's a perfectly applicable descriptor for them. I see no lies.
This take? I definitely agree. There are some Twitter freaks out there. Like the main takeaway.
Oh boy. Look who made an appearance. Hi, Dracel. You showed up. Dracel likes to comment on my tweets fairly often. Love you, Dracel. Dracel gets a cameo.
Like the main takeaway for me from just like the starting point of this entire series of events is that Rev is not like a very serious person. On the one hand, he says that like criticizing people isn't harassing anybody, and then he turns around right away and accuses other people of harassing him for basically
how is that not serious?
Criticizing him. I guess if you
how does that not, how does that make him not serious? If I was actually half expecting him to pull up another tweet that was basically making a joke about something serious when it should have been taken seriously. He's just pulling up the same fucking tweets saying, oh, Rev's not actually a serious person because he's criticizing people. No, that's not what that means. You keep using this word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Publicly criticize somebody like more than once, does that then become harassment based on his standards? I don't really understand. He's a grifter.
Criticizing someone is not harassment, you snowflake. Criticism is not harassment, and this is where we get into it. This is a person whose mantra is silence is violent. Oh, pardon me. Silence is violence, words are violence. Criticism is violence. Criticism, I'm going to educate you, good sir. I'm going to give you a little bit of education for free. You don't even have to pay me. Criticism is not violence. Criticism is not harassment. Criticism is taking a statement that has been made, disagreeing with it, and basically postulating your own opinion based potentially on facts of why you disagree with this statement and think that it is incorrect statement, or at the very least a partially incorrect statement. That's criticism. Harassment is jumping into someone's Twitter feed and saying, "Goddamn whore, I hope you die. You're a bootlicker." That's harassment. You see the difference? I know. You may struggle with these two concepts. I'm using big words. My apologies. I will try to, no, I'm not going to reduce my vocabulary. You just got to catch up, gamer. This is the difference. You see the difference?
He's a drama profiteer who plays dumb and innocent in the face of any criticism for his awful opinions and his awful behavior. And he shouts woke and Twitter freak when he criticizes things that he doesn't like. And that's about it.
No. He shouts the woke stuff when people actually do woke shit. Which basically woke is now synonymous with the significant left. Alt-left, far left, call it which you will. It is synonymous with that. When he sees that, he calls it out as such. It's literally as simple as that.
For the record, there are a lot of people on Twitter who have some really stupid opinions, but he doesn't hate those people. He loves those people. They're his content. They're also his audience.
Well, they're his content, yes, because it's called farming. He literally does farm that. He literally does full videos about people freaking the fuck out on Twitter and being absolute insane ideologue assholes. It's cold farming. That's what you do when you're a content creator on YouTube. You find the stuff, you find stuff to grab people's attention, and you farm it for content by making fun of them and showing them on screen being absolute unhinged nutjobs. That's literally what you do as a content creator. It's literally what you're doing right now. You, my guy, are literally doing the exact same thing you are accusing Rev of doing.
He doesn't hate those people. He loves those people. They're his content. They're also his audience. He's a valueless...
By the way, and again, shit, hang on. And again, he is making the assumption that everyone in of these 5 tweets, he is assuming that every single one of these people are fans of Rev's content and every one of them watches his content. Where's the evidence? Dracel, maybe, because Dracel follows me and I know Dracel follows Rev. That's one. Where's your evidence that any of the other 4 are fans of Rev or consumers of Rev's content? Where's your evidence for this? See, this is why you can't just spew out shit definitively, or in a definitive voice, I should say. This is why you can't, spew shit out in a definitive-sounding voice and just say, this is how it is because I said this, and have no substantiating evidence to support your claims. It doesn't work, because now you're looking like you're just grasping at straws, which he is.
He's a valueless husk who still posts Gamergate content in 2026.
Gamergate content. At what point is any of the, look at the stuff that he's showing in the background. Look at his examples. How is any of this Gamergate content? What the fuck is Gamergate content in 2026 or 2025? What even is considered quote-unquote Gamergate content? Let's see. He's covering a fellow SJR. He probably loves this guy. He's covering Rev talking about an SJR attacking I always mispronounce her name, but you know what I'm talking about. Is attacking her simply because she just wants to have fun and doesn't want to be political. He's covering that. I'm not sure what he covered on addressing the elephant in the room. Didn't watch this one. He talked about Hassan's ban. He's talking about the situation in the UK where Amelia has become a symbol of resistance in the UK. He's talking about Jellywig basically doing Jellywig things and folding like a cheap suit when it comes to Hassan. Don't know what this is. Talking about Pokimane being an absolute hypocrite. Talking about Redditors, basically a Redditor claiming to have to be leaving her husband because her husband likes Kirsche. Like, where is Gamergate in here? Where, at what point is any of this content Gamergate? What does he even quantify as Gamergate at this point? Yes, I know, I mispronounced it. It should have been Jellywig. Problem is, I don't know how well that comes through, but I do it. That's kind of why I avoid it. But yeah, how is this Gamergate anyway? What is he quantifying as Gamergate?
Honestly, he should be shamed and bullied off of every platform, and he should lose all
And
business
there it
deals
is.
that he made.
And there it is. I don't like what he's doing, so we should attack. Oh, I forgot to turn those off.
Oh, yeah. This guy.
Sorry, I forgot to turn those off. Yeah, this is where it is. This is where the SJRs, the wokies, the leftists, whatever label you wish to ascribe to them, don't like what you're saying. They immediately say you should be bullied off of the platform. And he's not outright saying it, but his hat says it all. If he could get away with it, it would not surprise me if he thinks that Rev and even maybe Darlie Straub should be killed. Because he disagrees with Rev's content, because he disagrees with Rev's opinions, he thinks Rev should be disappeared. Because he disagrees with it. Notice how Rev doesn't think that people that he simply disagrees with should be disappeared. He thinks that people that are committing crime should be disappeared. He thinks that people that are committing harm online should be not disappeared, but they should be, handled. Something should be done. Either they should be removed from the platform because they are actively causing harm, like making threats against people's lives or advocating for people to be harmed or killed. Then he says people should be, then he thinks, people should be, punished in terms of off the platform. Oh, go cry harder, bitch. Go fucking cry harder. I don't care. Oh boy. Oh, Kenny, we're gonna get the bird peanuts dancing here. Oh, bring it. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Cry harder, please. Please, will you cry harder? I need a good laugh. Come on. Give me some tears. Give me some tears, please. Please, come on. Oh, I could use it. Oh. No more tears? Oh, huh? Hey, bro. I'll have to subsidize on his tears.
Just to get his hands on. He's a piece of shit. Fuck him. Now, of course, part of the right-wing grifter model of content is to react to these sort of things. So this instance immediately starts drawing in the other right-wing grifters.
Who's this? Who is this supposed to be? Does anybody know? Is that who it is? I was wondering if this is supposed to be Gavin Newsom. Oh, because of course he has an AI-upped handsome Newsom image. Of course. Of course, he's a Gavin Newsom cock gobbler. Of course. Oh my God. Dude, did you drool when you put this in your video? When you put this in your video, did you just start drooling?
Apparently, it's breaking news that apparently they were dropped from Advanced GG over the cancellation campaign. And let me explain to you why this is stupid.
Leaflit is one such VTuber who I've seen their name thrown around a lot. The interesting thing is I actually used to watch Leaflit's content back when she just was like a regular streamer who posted video game content, but apparently she realized that copying Asmongold was like super profitable, so like...
Here, she just decided to change her content. Streamers change their content. It happens, and she's not like trying to be like Asmongold. She has opinions. She wishes to express those opinions. She is very knowledgeable in regards to the opinions that she is expressing. That's what he has a problem with. He has a problem with Leaflit expressing opinions that differ from his own, and she's actually quite knowledgeable about the opinions of which she expresses herself.
It's honestly insane to look at her current YouTube videos in contrast with her old YouTube videos. I mean,
hold up. Okay, where's the problem? There's a trailer, Pokemon. Okay. Hang on. I think he switched over. All right, hang on. Okay. So she's choosing to do more React and news-based content. So what? It's been 3 years. People do change in 3 years. Leaflit decided that she wanted to start addressing topical content. That's her choice. She had something to say. She was knowledgeable in what she was saying. Where's the issue? What makes you the arbiter of what Leaflit can or cannot talk about on stream? I don't even think it's the metas that changed. I legit don't even think that it's just that the metas changed and so did she. It's just current events moved in a direction that Leaflit had something to say about them and she maybe discovered she had a lot to say about them, and so she decided to talk about it on her stream. That's her choice. It's her stream. You don't like it, you are free to click off of it. That's the way streaming works. Yeah, maybe, it could be. Maybe she also felt more confident in being vocal about it. Possible. I don't know if that's the reason why, but that's certainly possible. Oh, and yeah, I'm guessing it's like, you guys would know if you, for those of you that followed Leaflit for years, you would know she's talked politics before. I literally only came to know about Leaflit probably about half a year or a year into my streaming career. And so I have limited knowledge on what Leaflit has done back in the day, so to speak.
Contrast with her old YouTube videos. I mean, it makes sense. Like, she's obviously doing much better with this content model. But like, literally watching a Benny Johnson video, like Benny Johnson,
Yes. What's wrong with watching a Benny Johnson video? I've watched, not on stream, a couple of Benny Johnson videos lately, and you know what? The motherfucker's a reporter, and he brings receipts. I watched his latest one in LA. He brings his receipts. He does his research. He gets whistleblowers calling him up in the middle of filming, giving him bombshell information. Just because he's not a journalist that licks the ass of the left doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Doesn't mean that he's not spitting out facts. You just don't like the fact that everything that he's reporting on makes people that you like look like criminals. That's what it boils down to. He's upset that Benny Johnson is exposing the criminals that this guy worships.
The world's most smug, sentient piece of human shit. I just can't imagine like falling that low just for content.
Because this isn't an assault on a specific person. This is an assault on,
I've got to try and stop pausing so much. We're going to hear all night.
ICE is okay. Anyone that voted for ICE, anyone that agrees with ICE, this is them telling their creators, you don't mean shit to us. Because the instant that it becomes inconvenient for us, we're kicking you out. No matter how loyal you were to us, no matter how much money you made us, none of that fucking matters. We never have your back. And that's literally what this says. This is so freaking ridiculous, man.
Yes! Yes, Leaflit was absolutely right when it came to Rev in advance. And you know what? Ironically enough, everything she just said also applies to the Jelly situation. Granted, Jelly didn't lose her position with FaZe, but they threw her all the way under the bus because it was convenient for them. because it was convenient for FaZe, because they were getting so much backlash from a completely benign statement, and they happily just tossed Jelly to the wolves. So, ironically enough, Leaflit's statement about Rev also applies to Jelly.
Now, like, notice how, like, dramatic and emotional she's being about
Still
this.
around,
Like, this is,
Jigoku-
like, the facts
Jigoku.
don't care about your
She's
feelings
still around.
crowd over here. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. If you're a reasonable person, you'll get thrown to the side and thrown to the wolves. Like, Jesus Christ,
Yes.
give me a break.
Yes! That's exactly. What the fuck do you think happened to Rev? What do you think happened to Jelly? Not Jelly Wig, Jelly. She's a VTuber named Jelly. That's exactly what happened to both of them.
Like, you're just crying like a baby because people don't like your shitty politics. Advanced GG can do whatever it
Crying.
wants. They can make...
Crying! Of course he's going to try and conflate. Of course. This is what people like this do. They take someone that simply is just talking facts, talking negatively about facts, which saying, I don't like this, and then conflate it to, oh, she's crying. Gamer, you're the one bitching and moaning this whole time. Yeah. The projection is so fucking strong with this one. Oh, I'm pretty sure Leaflit still does her tangents. Goku. She still does her tangents. Don't worry. I guess you've just been missing some of her streams, but she still goes on her tangents. Trust me.
decisions about who they partner with based on anything. It's a private company. The CEO is allowed to not like the vibes of the partners for any reason. You are
Ironclaw, this is oh god, what's his name? This is Jackson. I completely forgot his name. That is who this person on the screen is.
literally encouraging people to boycott them in response. You are reacting to their behavior and choosing to not do business with them as a form of punishment for that behavior. You're allowed to do that, but so is the company. They're reacting to the behavior of one of their partners and choosing not to do business with them.
No. When some of their partners have done far worse and they just said, cool, let it fly, and then they toss Rev for what? See, what Jackson here is deliberately choosing to ignore in his statement is that one of the other content creators, I believe a VTuber, not 100% sure, one of the other content creators sponsored by Advanced should broadcast celebration in regards to the death of Charlie Kirk. Broadcast it. Basically was like metaphorically dancing on his grave. She broadcast that while being sponsored by Advanced. People took issue with that. You know what Advanced did? They backed her up and kept her on. Didn't do fuck all to her. Rev does a stupid little Twitter slap fight, and they boot him, and he started going to try and say that, oh, they did this for the good of the company. No. This was deliberate because a bunch of reeing SJRs went to Advance and say, oh, we're butthurt. We don't buy your product in the first place, but we're butthurt that you sponsor Rev. And the funny part is Advanced kicking Rev and Straub probably just killed their company. That's the funniest part about this, which he's probably not going to talk about. Advanced GG terminating their relationship with Rev and Straub very likely killed their business. They were already going down hard. Rev and Straub were probably the only things propping them up with their sponsorship. Now that they're gone, the company is going to be out of business in a month. In probably a month, Advanced GG will become no more because they got rid of their two moneymakers.
Acting like it's some sort of outrageous, completely unheard of thing, and they're betraying people is stupid. You're just crying about it. Like, relax, grow up. Like the.
By the way, if this person, oh, that's a great face to stop on. Perfect face to stop on. If this, see, here's the funny part. If this guy was sponsored by Advanced GG, put out this video talking about Rev like this, and people then brigaded him online and brigaded his sponsorship and said, hey, how can you possibly sponsor someone like this who is basically telling outright lies about another content creator? How can you support this? And they brigaded his sponsor and got his sponsor to drop him because of this brigading. Taryn fucking Tiu, he would be whining and crying and bitching and moaning. Why were you all so mean to me? This isn't fair. Why did they drop me? It's not fit. This isn't right. They don't care about me. He would be crying his fucking eyes out if it happened to him. Guaranteed.
Title of the video, This is War. Like, I understand that it's clickbait. I do understand that. But it's like so dramatic. It's just, ugh.
Don't claim that you understand what clickbait means and then bitch and moan about clickbait.
It's one thing to be a politically neutral entity, and it's another thing to actually take enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology.
Taking enforcement action on behalf of a political ideology. They just don't like you. Like, I just don't
And you don't like
understand
them. What's the problem?
Confusion here, like the bewilderment, the like, oh my god, how could they do this? People don't like you and your shitty politics. You are toxic to this country. We want you to.
Hold up. Let me check something. So, okay. 26,000 subscribers, 4K views. Let me take a look at something. Hi, Daddy Come Soon. How's it going? Let me take a look at something really quick. Let's take a look-see. So, they don't like it. Okay, 29.6 subscribers, 168,000 subscribers, 4K views on a video from 3 days ago, 23K views on a video from 6 hours ago. On this very video. Yeah, Gamer, I hate to tell you, they like Leaflit a fuckload more than they like you. They also like Rev a fuckload more than they like you. Your opinion is discounted. You're an idiot.
Shut the fuck up and stop voting for pedophile rapists. Like, what is
There it is.
confusing about that?
Of
Companies are
course.
comprised of people. Those people have
default
opinions.
to the
Those
name
people are
calling.
allowed to act upon those opinions within their company. That's capitalism. Deal with it. It's just so obnoxious.
Wait. What did he just say?
Companies are comprised of people. Those people have opinions. Those people are allowed to act upon those opinions within their company. That's capitalism. Deal with it. It's
Don't you love communism? Don't people like you love communism and love socialism? You hate all of the quote-unquote fascists. Why do you like capitalism if you're so anti-fascist? Because if I was to go with the rhetoric that is currently going around, that anybody that is anti-fascist is pro-capitalism and pro-socialism, then that would mean that because of this hat that you're wearing, you are clearly, obviously, pro-communism and pro-socialism. So why are you standing for capitalism? Do you see how this fucking works when you make these outrageously insane assumptions? Do you see how this works? Are you learning yet, son?
It's just so obnoxious how like pearl clutching and dramatic and like crybaby these people become when they like receive like criticism and backlash for their like, awful opinions and their like awful politics. These are the consequences for your action. That's the way it is. Get fucked.
And I'm hoping he's ready to live with the consequences of his actions because Leaflet's reacting to him. I'm reacting to him. Rev is probably going to react to him. And I wouldn't be surprised if, when Kirsche comes on the screen, if Kirsche reacts to him. And guess what? There is a fair chance, not with me. I don't put myself in the same category as Rev, Leaf, and Kirsche. But there is a less than 0 chance, we already know it's true with Leaflit, that all of their videos are going to do at least 5 to 10 times better than your video will do.
Cry, your little bitch tears.
Yes.
Another
Who
video
knows,
that I
sure, she
looked at
might.
regarding the situation was from Kirsche, which was an
There we go.
hour-long video. What the fuck? She kind of
Dude, it's called yapping. Get good, scrub. I can do an hour yap session in my fucking sleep. It's called a skill issue. Just because you don't have the mental capacity and the imagination or the logic circuits to be able to facilitate yapping about something for at least an hour if it's an interesting topic that you want to talk about, get good. It's literally as simple as that. My react alone to this is probably going to be a fucking hour.
Like hides her power level in this video, honestly. It's a pretty like level-headed, kind of reasonable take about just like how toxic Twitter is and how nobody was really harassing anybody. The one take that she gives here that I definitely wanted to criticize was when she's talking about like cancel culture and cancel culture being a bad thing.
All right, let's see. I watched this video of Kirsche.
Comparison of her behavior in the past where she was encouraging going after people who were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, like, and canceling those people and getting them to lose their jobs, comparing that to quote-unquote canceling Rev and causing him and his wife to lose their advanced contracts.
It's from the Charlie Kirk stuff of going after people for simply not liking him. No, I don't care if someone doesn't like Charlie Kirk. I care if they're celebrating that he died. That is fucking weird.
This is pretty funny because she acts like there's some sort of clear distinction here, which is based on...
There is. The fact that he's not seeing a clear distinction between what happened with Rev and people celebrating the assassination of a human being because of his opinions should scare you. That means that that indicates that you are potentially a mentally unhinged individual, because it was not only celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Not only that in and of itself is horrible, that you're celebrating the death of someone literally because of their opinion. Let's not fuck with that. What he is bitching and moaning about, like, oh, why is this so bad? Why is it so bad? But why is this so bad? But what happened to Rev is bad. He's basically he's saying without saying that he approves of people celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And leave us not forget that dovetailing off of the celebration of Charlie Kirk's death, people were also saying that they're going to be killing more people. Leave us not forget about that. The assassination of Charlie Kirk morphed into all of these freaks of nature that should be permanently locked into asylums, saying that they want to go kill more people that have opinions that they disagree with. That is a big fucking distinction and a big difference than Rev having a slap fight with Lala on Twitter. If he cannot see the difference between the two of them, that should scare people. That means that he's okay with someone being killed because of their opinion. He's not okay with someone that doesn't agree with him ideologically and politically, like having a slap fight with someone on Twitter, but he's totally cool with a person losing their life over their opinion. That's psychotic. And if you think that way, you need to be locked up either in a prison cell or an asylum cell. Pick one, I don't fucking care, as long as you're out of society.
Kind of nothing. Celebrating violence against somebody isn't actually illegal. In fact, here's Charlie Kirk doing that.
Wow, he couldn't even do the bare minimum. He could not even do the barest fucking minimum and say celebrating the death of someone is not a good thing. He couldn't even do that. Why? Because he probably celebrated it. That's why he hid behind the First Amendment for disgusting behavior. That's what people like him do. They hide behind the First Amendment and go, well, it's not illegal, but it's still wrong. And just because you have the right to say it, freedom of speech, doesn't mean freedom of consequences. Maybe you're free of consequences legally, unless you actually are advocating for harm against someone. If you want to celebrate the death of someone, legally speaking, yes, you are in the clear. You can legally say, I'm glad that person's dead. I'm happy that person's dead. Yes, legally speaking, you can do that. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean you shouldn't suffer non-legal consequences. You know, like losing your job, losing your friends, losing your family because they all think you're a psychopath, losing money because if you're a content creator, people drop you like a hot potato. Freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence. And don't be Pikachu shot face when you celebrate the death of someone because they had an opinion differing from yours, to have people look at you like you're a freak and say, I want nothing to do with you anymore.
Illegal? In fact, here's Charlie Kirk doing that regarding Paul Pelosi getting attacked with a hammer.
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out and then go ask him some questions.
Okay. I'm a little fuzzy on the context. The implication of the question is he answering here is alluding to the conservative conspiracy theory that the attacker was Paul Pelosi's gay lover. How does that equate to wanting violence? It is not even remotely the same thing. Even if this is out of context, it's not even remotely the same thing. Charlie did not celebrate the injury. He was not celebrating someone getting attacked. He said that they should be bailed out of jail and ask him some questions, alluding to the theory that the attacker was his gay lover. So basically out him as being gay. How is that even anywhere in the same fucking universe as what you just said about celebrating Charlie's death? They are not even in the same universe. Not even fucking close. And Charlie said a few seconds later, figure out what happened? Yeah, so again, taking it out of context, of course, because people like this have to take shit out of context to try and make a false point and say, look, see, I'm so right. See, I can take this clip out of context. You don't know what's actually going on. It means I'm right. The conflation and the stupidity of these arguments is mind-boggling. No, I said that it's stupid, and I gave my reasoning for why it's stupid. Just a note of distinction here, guy. I call you an idiot. I've called you stupid. I've also detailed out in very verbose manner why you are an idiot and why you are stupid. I didn't just out of pocket do it.
So clearly there are some situations in which celebrating violence against somebody is okay. You know, maybe if you just like dislike the person.
Again, that was not a celebration of violence. You're full of shit. You fucking lied. You, sir, are a liar. At no point in that clip did Charlie celebrate violence. No point. None whatsoever. He was making a funny alluding to the fact that the gentleman might be gay. At no point did he celebrate the violence. Once. And I will bet you did a fucking jig when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I will betcha. So you're a liar. I am calling you out as a liar.
Enough. The reality is that you had a moral objection to public statements of a person, these people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and you worked to get that person punished monetarily. That's exactly what happened to Rev. People had a moral objection to their behavior and their public statements, and those people...
Not even the same thing. Again, conflating. Again, he's trying to conflate two extremely different things, and he's going to the extreme with it. You're an idiot, dude. You can't even make a cohesive argument. Your argument holds absolutely no water because you're taking two dynamically different situations and saying, look, this is the same thing. See, square hole, round peg, it's the same thing. You're an idiot. And I just proved it.
Work to get them punished monetarily. It's the same thing. Acting like there's some sort of distinction there is silly, because there's not really. There's a distinction in where you draw
there
the line
is, but you're
between
too
what's
stupid to
acceptable
figure that
behavior
out.
to punish that way and what's not, but that's just based on your own personal opinions. There's nothing really concrete there to go off of.
Yeah, personal opinions. You know the thing that Charlie Kirk was killed for? that I have zero doubt celebrated, and you said that it was perfectly legal and fine for people to celebrate as that. Opinion, that's your opinion. So if someone physically attacked you for having this opinion, if someone, hopefully not, but if someone was able to discern your identity, found you, and beat you with a hammer because of your opinion in this video, you would say, oh, this is the same thing as mean tweets. You would say that's the same thing. No, you'd cry like a little bitch. And do I want you hurt? No, I don't want anything. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I do not wish you to be physically harmed whatsoever. I don't want you to be harassed. I'm not even going to call for you to be harassed, because I don't do that. I don't call for people to be harassed. What I will do is I will call you out on your bullshit. And every word that has come out of your mouth is diarrhea dripping with bullshit.
And also, like, Rev's behavior in this specific Twitter interaction is clearly not, like, the actual full reason for this campaign to get their contract pulled from Advanced. Anybody who is going with the narrative that this was harassment on Rev's part and that's why they deserve to lose their contract, that's obviously stupid. I would agree that none of this was harassment. Clearly, this event was just kind of a flashpoint for something that had been brewing in the community for a while, which, like, again, to kind of...
No, it was not. It was not. What this was is someone at Advanced GG also had the opinion of fuck ICE, and when Rev had a dynamic different, Rev has a different opinion on that. And basically and my guess is you wanted to get rid of Rev because you didn't like that he had a dynamically different opinion on ICE versus the person in your company. Can't remember if it was the CEO or whoever, or the CEO's brother, whoever the fuck it was. They already didn't like the fact that Rev's opinion on ICE, and they used this as an opportunity to go, oh, now we can get rid of Rev, and we can justify it by saying, oh, Rev said bad thing. So, and a lot of people have brigaded and said they hate Rev and they want him gone. We can now use this as an excuse to get rid of Rev when before they couldn't. That's what it was. It was only brewing because the CEO got a wild hair up his ass about ICE and didn't like the fact that Rev is okay with ICE. That's it. Again, it's a gross overreaction on the behalf of Advanced in the service of their ideology.
Just like circle back to this. People hate you and your politics. They're going to come after you. They're going to bully you. They're going to try to get you punished monetarily. Get used to it.
Remember you said this, my guy. That's all I'm going to say. Remember you said this.
You're scum. You deserve it. Also, at some point in this video, she mentions that she seems to believe that the ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, was run over by Renee Good. So I guess she's either blind or an idiot.
Even if you send clear proof of video that the ICE agent wasn't run over and Alex Pretty wasn't resisting, where are you getting this video? Because that's not what the video I've watched from multiple angle shows. What video are you watching? Did you, like, make another AI video?
After that, out of curiosity, I went ahead and looked into her reaction to...
And by the way, what he's trying to do, I don't know if he is of the opinion that the ICE agent was never struck. I don't know. Maybe he's going to tell us in a few seconds. The people that are desperate to try and dogpile on people like Kirsche because they may claim, they may state or insinuate that he was run over when he was struck, not actually run over. Again, desperate to try and say, "Ha, see, you don't know what you're talking about. He was never run over. He was never run over." It's desperation, pure and simple desperation, because the agent was struck. There is video footage showing that he was struck. And their talking point to this day is he was never hit, he was never injured, and that Renee Good was assassinated. That is the sticking point that they're coming up with. Which, if we're gonna play by their rules, it shouldn't be a problem. And people should be able to celebrate. Granted, no one has. People have not celebrated the death of Renee Good or Alex Preddy. Key distinction there. Their deaths were not celebrated. Their deaths were viewed as tragic. Like, you probably had some, like, crazy outliers that did celebrate it. Absolutely. I've said this. They are a significant minimum. We did not see the outpouring of visceral hatred like we did with Charlie Kirk, where you saw hundreds and thousands of people going on social media dancing about his death. You didn't see that with Renee Good. You didn't see that with Alex Preddy. And they're trying to conflate it to, oh, they were assassinated by ICE, ignoring the facts of the case, and then saying like, oh, well, they're saying he got run over. See, they're lying. He wasn't actually run over. They have no way to stand on principle for their case. They don't even know what they're talking about. And they're conflating it when it's easier to just say run over than to say struck by the vehicle. And it rolls off the tongue easier and faster to say they were run over. But he wouldn't know that because he doesn't grasp context and he doesn't grasp, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, ease of language. He doesn't grasp that when it works against him. Not so much reality, it's just nuance. Thank you, that's the word I'm looking for. I couldn't find it in my brain. Thank you. Yeah, he doesn't grasp the concept of nuance when it's not working for him. If there was something on his side, oh, he would absolutely be like pissed off about anything regarding nuance. But when it comes to what happened to Renee Good, oh no, fuck nuance in language. Fuck that.
Alex Preddy being shot, and sure enough, she's 100% on board with the idea that he was violently resisting somehow. She also implied that he looked like a pedophile. So, there's that.
Well,
this is not a serious person.
Oh, again, you keep using this word. You have no idea what this fucking word means. Yeah, she made a joke. Yeah. I saw the video. She made the quip that Alex Preddy looked like a pedophile based on his picture. She made the joke. Does she believe that? No. She did not think that he was a pedophile. She did not. She was making fun of his looks. Welcome to social media. That's it. And as far as his other
He also implied that he looked like a pedophile. So.
Oh yeah, the other part where he was violently resisting. He was. He was resisting. Absolutely. You saw that he was resisting. He was fighting against the border agent who was trying to take him into custody. He was fighting not to be taken into custody. That is resisting with violence. It's in the video. The being armed thing. Let's call it like this is. We're talking about him resisting. The being armed is lateral to that. It's immaterial in the context of him literally just resisting. My suspicion is why he went after that, why he was like quote unquote strangling that girl. My guess is he didn't know it was one of his own people. He probably was he was probably suffering from the pepper spray in his eyes, couldn't see very well, and just felt a body and assumed that, and maybe just assumed that was a Border Patrol agent trying to take him into custody. That is my guess as to why initially he grabbed that girl and started trying to strangle her. My guess is he couldn't see and probably thought that the body he had grabbed was a Border Patrol agent, and that's it. That is my suspicion.
There's that. This is not a serious person. None of these people are serious people.
And again, he has no clue what that word means.
And she should be treated like that.
Now, why is she a grifter? I hear people doing this all the time, saying, oh, they're grifters. How? I have yet to hear an explanation from any of these people why they are classified as, quote, grifters. A grifter, by definition, okay, it's time for some education. Education time! The definition of a grifter: a person who engages in petty or small-scale swindling. I have yet to hear an explanation as to why any of these people that are accused of being grifters are grifters. They are literally giving an opinion about a given topic. People choose to support these individuals with bits, with subs, with donos, with super chats, with ad revenue, what have you. They are stating an opinion. I would love this guy to explain to me how that makes them a grifter. How is anyone being swindled by someone merely stating their opinion in a stream or a video? I'm offering this challenge right now. This guy can comment to my Twitter feed and tell me why they are classified as grifters. How does that label ascribe to each of these 3 streamers that he is discussing? I will guarantee you he can't do it. And I don't care. I don't care, Philly. I literally do not care. But thanks for coming, and thanks for bumping up my view numbers.
There's no video for this one, but quick shout out to Powder, who had a just awful reply in the comments underneath one of these tweets.
Of course.
And there's a couple things here that are very dumb. Now, the one thing she is correct about, again, is that Twitter is Twitter. People are going to come after you when you make political takes.
Yes.
That is true. None of it was harassment, but the idea that, like, locking the replies was not the move, that, again, this idea that there's something virtuous about allowing people to criticize you publicly, that's stupid. But this part here, like, you claim empathy by saying, fuck ICE, but do you have empathy for the American people? The countless people who are unemployed, the greedy business owners who take advantage of illegal immigration and pay people like shit so they don't have to hire Americans and pay them a livable wage? First off, to be a...
And that is literally scratching the surface. I promise I'm not going to get into it. But that is literally scratching the surface of the benefits of ICE literally just doing their job. There is the whole thing about ICE and the benefit to them literally just doing their job as ascribed by the Congress of the United States is an iceberg. And that is literally just the tip of the iceberg, what Powder put in her statement.
Conservative and bring up the concept of a livable wage is insane. Like,
oh, here we go. Eat the rich. Come on, bring it.
Lost.
Bring it.
But let's talk about a couple of these things real quick. First off, like, the idea that there's only 2 alternatives here. Option A, we are completely overrun by illegal immigrants all over this country. Or option B, we have masked armed men abducting and shooting U.S. citizens in the streets. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, way not to give any context whatsoever to the 2 shootings. Way to just act like, oh, that we got this, the streets got swarmed, and he's literally conflating it to the Danny DeVito meme. So they just got out and they just started blasting, blam, blam, blam. That's a fucking lie. And by the way, the reason why so many ICE agents descended upon Minnesota is because it was discovered that there is a massive amount of illegal immigrants defrauding the state. That's why there was such a descent, is because the massive amounts of fraud in Minnesota got blown up on the internet, and it required a response because the federal government was losing billions of dollars to fraud via illegal immigrants. But he's not going to mention that. Oh, and by the way, the only reason why there was such a descent on it is because the local police would not assist. There was no assistance by local law enforcement, both prior and during when ICE dropped in on Minnesota. The police never, if they took into custody an illegal immigrant who was charged with a crime, they would not let ICE know so they could be deported. They never would let them know. So without police assistance, ICE had to do what ICE is going to do, their job, and do targeted enforcement, which people like this very conveniently choose to ignore. See, according to people like this, ICE are just literally riding around through Minnesota, just grabbing up people and doing papers, please. When ironically enough, the insurrectionists are the ones that are doing the blockades and demanding papers, please. The ICE agents are actually doing targeted enforcement. They are doing targeted arrests. They are looking for specific people in specific places. But he won't admit to that. To him, it's the Gestapo coming in to basically round people up and say, papers, please. When ironically enough, his people are the ones that are running around the entire state, throwing up blockades and attacking innocent citizens because they think they don't have the right
tell you
papers.
states like Texas has 10x the arrests and no fatalities.
Oh yeah, Texas, Florida, I think South Carolina might have been another one. There are multiple states that have more arrests and don't have any of these problems. Why? Because the police work with ICE. That's okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna move on because I'll be on this forever. It's literally as simple as that. Because the governor and the police chief or the police commissioner and the mayor refuse to work with ICE from the very beginning. That's why we're in the position we are now. You do not see this in any state where the police will work with ICE. Not one state do you see this in.
And stupid. So Powder is either insane or stupid to say such a thing.
Again, another person offering a rational opinion on something. Again, that's how these people think. That is how these insane SJRs think. Someone gives a rational opinion on something, and what's the immediate response? Oh, they're stupid. I don't like what they said, so they're stupid. Even though I have no rebuttal for it, I have no counter argument, they're just stupid, and you have to believe me or I'm going to send my people to kill you. That's how these people think.
A couple relevant stats here. Unemployment in 2023 during Joe Biden's presidency. The evil, awful Joe Biden, who had an open border, who allowed all these immigrants in the first place. Unemployment was at 3.4%. That's a 50-year low during that presidency. Since President Trump has been in office, it's climbed back up to 4.6%, which is the highest level since September.
Yeah, and maybe that could be because a lot of the illegal immigrant, like, number one, you can't trust the census. The way the census was working in these blue states that have massive illegal immigration cannot be trusted because it is skewed because they don't require IDs, they fudge their numbers, so it doesn't mean anything. There's your problem. When you have states that will deliberately fudge the numbers to hide things like illegal immigration or fraud, you can't trust the numbers that they give.
Of 2021, which was during the COVID recovery. Obviously, the immigration is not driving unemployment the way you're implying it is. Also, this idea that immigrants like come into the country and are just a leech on our economy and are bad for our economy is disproven over and over again. Immigrants are
disproven. He put this out 3 days ago, so the fraud is not new. Disproven that it's a leech on our economy. Motherfucker, have you been paying attention? Have you been paying attention? The illegal immigrants are literally costing the United States taxpayers billions of dollars and climbing. By the end of all the investigations, the dollar amount when it comes to the fraud will be in the trillions when everything is all said and done. And he's going to try and say immigrants boost the economy. They absolutely boost the economy. No, they don't. They just were much better at hiding it. Maybe God only knows when he put this when this came out. It was a source migrationpolicy.org. I have never heard of I have never heard of this. I have never heard of migrationpolicy.org. So it's not an official government stat. This is not an official government stat. This was not put together by an official government agency. This is God knows what kind of org throwing numbers at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Are typically considered a boost to overall economic growth. They grow the labor force. They increase consumer spending. What you're implying here.
Oh yeah, and you're right. You're right, Thomas. You're right. He's not taking into account that unemployment was so low during Biden. And it was during Biden that we started seeing massive layoffs. Towards the end of Biden's term and the beginning of Trump's term, corporations started doing massive fucking layoffs. Like the highest that has been seen in probably decades. But he's not taking that into account, is he?
is totally wrong. Immigration drives job growth and productivity. Increased immigration leads to a decrease in the deficit. And back to the
Okay, and here's where he's conflating. Increased immigration and estimated deficit reduction. Cool. Do you know what people through this entire thing have not had a problem with? Legal immigration. That's one thing that he is very distinctly not talking about. He's pro-immigration, but he's not equating what
Amber,
ICE
you
is
should
doing
watch
with
his other video. So I made
illegal
anti-fascist propaganda
immigration.
sometime just to see how crazy this guy is.
He is not conflating legal and he's not separating legal and illegal immigration. Yes, legal immigration could certainly increase revenue and deficit reduction. Legal, doing it the right way, I'm in agreement. Literally, so is the rest of the entire country. The rest of the country is perfectly good with legal immigration. The thing that they have a problem with is illegal immigration, you cock-gobbling thunder cunt. But you don't want to go, you don't care about those details. You're going to deliberately avoid that painful little detail because it blows up your entire argument. The fact that he cannot separate legal and illegal immigration is distinctly because if he does that, every argument he's had thus far goes out the fucking window.
And back to the idea that like this is the only way that we can get illegal immigrants out of the country. That having armed ICE agents marching through the streets of Minneapolis, which is up near the Canadian border, by the way, is the correct way to be removing illegal immigrants from this country. We did.
Yes, it is. If they will not self-deport when they are told to self-deport, yes, you are in the country illegally. You have committed a crime. You are refusing to leave the country of your own accord. Even when the United States has offered to give these illegal immigrants like $1,200 or $1,500 and a plane ticket home, they've actually offered them money to properly self-deport, and they go, nah, it'll be fine. So yes, ICE is the way to do it. If they're not going to go of their own accord, we will make them go. It's literally as simple as that. It's fucking basic. If you have a problem with it, then why don't you fuck off to another country that is way easier on immigration? Oh, wait, all the other countries you might go to are actually hard on immigration. Oops.
Have an alternative to that. It was called the immigration bill. It was in 2023 under Biden. It was a bipartisan bill. It had support from both Republicans and Democrats. It would have resumed building the wall. It would have added more officers. It would have added more security. It would have offered more resources. It would have added resources to increase the processing of asylum cases. It would have added restrictions that allowed them to actually reduce the number of people.
5 Republicans. Okay, yeah, that's what people do. Is you get just like 5 Republicans. Of course he's lying. Of course he's lying, because that's all he has. He only has lies. Yeah, if it had like 3 Republicans on it, and of course all the Democrats, then yeah, they're going to call it bipartisan because you have like one person from the opposing party. Of course, lying, conflating, bullshit.
Coming into the country. Like a major part of our immigration issue is that we have
and it was an
legal
amnesty
backlogs.
bill.
Something about 30 to 50% of illegal immigrants in this country are just people who overstayed their visas. It's not like they're all just coming over the border illegally. There are reasons that we need resources other than.
And they overstayed their visas. They are now illegal immigrants. Again, where's the unfactual statement there? They overstayed their visas. They are now an illegal immigrant. They are given the option to self-deport. If they don't, bye-bye. Time to go. Time to get hooked up and go if you're not going to go by yourself. Like, this is the same thing. If your license expires and you get behind the wheel of a car, guess what? You're illegal. Same fucking thing. You don't get a gimme for, oh, my license expired, but I'm actually a good person and I need to work to feed my family. No. Your license is expired, you get behind the wheel, you get caught, you're going to get arrested because it's illegal. Exact same principle. They are illegal, time to go.
And just armed officers
Jedi,
to deal
I'd
with
love
our
to have you.
immigration issue. And this bill that would have helped with all that was killed by Trump. He put pressure on the Republicans to not vote for it. They killed the bill that they were going to pass because he needed to run on immigration as an issue so he could get elected again. And then he bragged about killing it. And now we have nothing. We have no border bill. We have this.
Yeah. You don't hear me. Like, I have to apply for my permanent residency every several years. And I do it. I reapply as proper. I got my permanent residency as proper when I first showed up. I went by the numbers. I operated by the numbers and I did everything legally. It's not a hard expectation. It's not an unreasonable expectation.
We have shootings in the streets of Minnesota. One thing that you can kind of just...
that were caused by people on your side not wanting to cooperate with law enforcement. That's why they're shooting in the streets. Because the people you stand for decided to try to strike an agent while trying to escape from agents when they were going to be detaining her, and B, a guy that decided to fight when he was under arrest. That's it. That's why it happened. And then there's the third one who tried to who was attacking an ICE agent with a shovel and got a bullet in the leg for his troubles. Again, during the course of an arrest. Again, conflation. Because all he has is conflation. Because the facts nuke every single argument that he has.
See over and over by the
yes, Mirando,
just
technically I would be
insane,
considered a legal
stupid,
alien.
Ill-informed things that these people will say in their videos that they pump out every day is that these people don't care about anything. They don't care about this country. They don't care about
No,
making it
they
better,
do. You
actually.
don't care about the country.
This is why I call them grifters. Because they have no values except for just being anti-lib creators. They don't give a shit.
That's not a grifter. Okay, so he just proved he can't define what a grifter is. He just proved it. He calls him a grifter because it's a mean name. Again, it's people that he sides with, people that he stands for, that destroy language. Oh, Jedi, I am an American. I am an American, born, raised American citizen. I just moved to Canada. So I did not give up my citizenship. I am still 100% American. I still file my taxes every fucking year. I am American. I just live in Canada. Yeah, he basically just proved he's lying about the word. He's doing what every single one of these SJRs do and destroy language. They take a word that should have proper meaning and they destroy it to literally just mean, you don't agree with me, you don't share my values, you should be disappeared, you should be killed. They use it as a means of targeting. No, Jedi, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. I wasn't like mad or anything. Nobody here's mad. You just showed up. You didn't know. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. Don't even sweat it.
Shit about Minnesota or Minneapolis. They just want to point and laugh at Tim Walz because he was Kamala's running mate and he's a liberal, so that makes him the enemy. They don't give a shit that...
No, they're pointing and laughing and angry at Tim Walz because he perpetuated billions of dollars worth of fraud and has undoubtedly been getting kickbacks from all these frauds and is desperately trying to hide all this money that he received from this fraud to give himself some kind of a golden escape hatch because the feds are coming from him. They're going to dig into his books. They're going to find that he's committed fraud and he is desperate not to go to prison. That's why they point and laugh at Tim Walz. Because he's a criminal and he needs to get hooked up and put in the 6x5 cell.
Zero fraud has been uncovered.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say, oh yeah, he also started a massive riot insurgency in the state of Minnesota. He is literally the cause of Minnesota going up for grabs.
As a result of the Nick Shirley video. By the way, a video made by an actual mentally disabled person who's being used by right-wing media to attack Democratic politicians.
What do you mean by...
And he's even worse than CNN. CNN is just jealous. This guy's a fucking idiot. Not very woke of you to A, call someone mentally disabled when you have no idea what his mental health status is, and B, if he does have a mental health issue, How un-SJR of you to attack him for that? That's not very woke of you, good sir. Not very woke of you at all to go after someone that you are perceiving to have mental health difficulties. In fact, that's downright shitty and not woke of you. How interesting.
What do you mean by the word benevolent?
They don't care that there are more illegal immigrants in Texas and Florida.
And of course, he picks the clip from the interview that he did, where it's pretty much established that Nick is not a great public speaker. That was established. That was the interview he did that basically cut out a lot of parts where Nick proved his points to the interviewer, and they cut those parts out of the interview where he's like, I forget what statistics he provided to the interviewer and said, no, actually Minnesota is like the poorest or something about Minnesota, like a statistic about Minnesota. And the interview was like, I don't think that's true. And then off camera, what they cut out is like, well, no, actually, I can't think of one. And there was another one where he tried to do a statistic. Nick countered him with another statistic and showed him the proof. That also got cut out of the final product of the interview. But the parts that we saw, the full context of it, Nick is not a great public speaker. He's 23. Not everybody is a great public speaker. People trip over their tongue all the time. I just did it literally 5 seconds ago. That doesn't mean that he's an unintelligent person. But you, of course, are going to take any tiny kernel of bullshit and blow it up into a full blanket of bullshit and say, see, I'm right. And all you've done is just prove that you're an idiot and you have no counter to any point that anyone has made against your ideology. You cannot counter any point that has been made. Throughout this entire video, all he's done is just, use buzzwords and say people are idiots and say, oh, they can't know what they're talking about. They're just losers. But he can't counter a single point Rev, Kirsche, Leaflit, or I have made. Not once.
And there are in Minnesota. And yet there was no operation to surge ICE agents into those states. And they don't care when American citizens get gunned down in the street. They don't care about anything. It's just a culture war grift. These
Of course they don't.
deserve your hate. They deserve to be bullied constantly. They should be shamed off every platform at every opportunity. And their loser audiences should as well. Meanwhile,
Psychopath.
as these dipshits...
These guys, dude, go to the UK. This guy literally needs to pack up and move to the UK. The party would welcome him with open arms. This person literally wants people arrested and possibly killed for wrongthink. He literally, at bare minimum, he wants people arrested for wrongthink. Dude, go to the UK. You'll fit right the fuck in over there. The UK would welcome you with open arms. You'd probably get a cabinet position. But don't try that shit in America. Because you're going to get put in your place real fucking quick.
And morons choke down the boots so far that they're clearly hindering their ability for their brains to get oxygen.
God, the desperation.
ICE is not popular. Things are looking...
No. What's that poll? Votes have become more unfavorable. Let's see. Who is this done by? Because the poll I saw just a couple of days ago from CNN showed overwhelming support for ICE. So where data for progress. So he's not that I'm aware of, he's Canadian. I believe he's American. Yeah, data for progress. So let's see, 10 surveys. Look at what their sample size is. Look at what the sample size is. 10 surveys of 12,000 people. This is his giant evidence. This is his, look at my evidence. Look, I'm right. This is his evidence that people don't like ICE. There was a poll of 12,000 U.S. likely voters conducted on January 24th through 2025 through January 20th, 2026. This poll is of 12,000 people. That is barely enough for a minuscule sample size. Barely enough. Any actual pollster would take one look at this and laugh their ass off and go, get this shit out of here. This isn't a poll. This is some guy just walking down the street with a clipboard going, tease apart ICE. You're an idiot. You pulling this poll up that uses 12,000 people as their polling size data, you are an idiot.
Things are looking pretty good as we start to move towards the midterm elections later
I
this year.
don't care who funded it. It's still a bullshit sample size.
Please. It's clear that these awful events have finally started to wake people up to how awful this administration truly is. This is why we should be openly talking about politics.
It hasn't. People wanted to go further.
Politics, these
people,
kinds of
I'll let it
scum
hang on.
always
I'll
poke
let
their
it
head up
roll.
and reveal themselves, and that allows you to start to root them out. And they do need to be rooted out. They have completely
like for
aligned
wrong
themselves
think?
with an authoritarian
You mean like a fat
pedophile.
I gotta say, he literally it's so funny. He's literally thinking like the very thing he claims to kill on his hat. He's literally thinking like a fascist. You need to root out the people engaged in wrong think and disappear them. You are literally being a fascist. You are literally espousing communist, fascist propaganda rhetoric. Chimora.
Rapist, and they will go along with any insane thing he tries to do. Liberals often have this approach of being like timid and conciliatory, even in the face of like awful, disgusting people saying and doing awful, disgusting things. And we just need to get over that. These people are scum. They should be treated like scum.
Oh, for God's sake.
Don't ever be nice to them. If you have friends who are voting conservative, stop being their friends.
That's the hive mindset. That is the zero-sum game. If you have friends that vote conservative, don't actually talk to them and try and understand their reasoning. Fucking get rid of them. Cut them out of your lives. Get rid of them. This guy is the reason why families have been destroyed by politics. Because dude, shut the fuck up. You seriously need to shut the fuck up. You have zero right whatsoever to tell anybody who they should be friends with. None whatsoever. You are a moron. You are a fascist. You are a Marxist. You are a communist. And I hope you get dogpiled by someone other than my community. I'm going to check the comment section after this is all said and done. Remember, chat, no brigading on your behalf. Or on my behalf. You don't brigade. Remember, the internet is going to take care of the brigading for us. We don't need to do a fucking thing. Leave it be. Let the internet do what it does best.
Fuck them. They don't care about you. They don't care about this country. If they did, they wouldn't be voting
you're
for
insane.
this shit. They should
You're
never
insane.
be able to live normal lives in a civilized society ever again. We're not gonna get our normal country back until we get these parasitic scum to fuck off forever.
Listen
I
to
guess that
this
pretty
guy.
much covers it. But
He's
also,
literally talking
fuck
about a
ICE.
genocide. He's literally talking about a genocide. This guy literally just called for a genocide. Not with violence, but to basically try and silence anybody that disagrees. And you know that people will take that. You should silence anybody that disagrees with me. There's going to be people that go violent with that. This guy is insane.